if Iran is feeling one thing in particular at the moment, it's this increased sense of isolation. As you said, that it's been supporting this fight against Israel, and it's seen its by far its biggest proxy, Hezbollah, decimated in the fight against Israel. We're in a ceasefire period now, but that war has every potential to reignite. So to lose Syria as well, or to see its position weakened in Syria would be another blow in a series of blows to Iran and its proxy militias.
Fighters from Iraq have been crossing into Syria to support President Assad's regime. They've been pulled in to help fight the rebels who took the second biggest city, Aleppo, at the weekend. Edmund Bauer is the Times correspondent in the Middle East and trying to explain what is going on in what is a relatively complicated conflict. Edmund, good morning to you.
Good morning.
These are Iraqis, but they're part of the Iranian group of militias operating in the region. Is that right?
That's right. This is, I think, an opportunity for Iran to show its support for the Assad regime. So on a call with Assad just a couple of days ago, both the Iranian and the Russian president reaffirmed their support for the Assad regime, and the news that Iraqi fighters are being sent to shore up their defenses, I think is part of that effort to show that they're standing with Assad and they don't want to see another city fall to the rebels.
Is it also an admission, a tacit admission, that maybe they got a bit distracted? That if you look at what Iran has been doing in the last year, it's very much been focusing on its proxies in their conflicts towards Israel, Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis as well. Is that have Iran maybe taken the eye off of Syria a little bit?
It's a good thought. I think if Iran is feeling one thing in particular at the moment, it's this increased sense of isolation. As you said, that it's been supporting this fight against Israel, and it's seen its by far its biggest proxy, Hezbollah, decimated in the fight against Israel. We're in a ceasefire period now, but that war has every potential to reignite. So to lose Syria as well, or to see its position weakened in Syria would be another blow in a series of blows to Iran and its proxy militias.
Is that a possibility? Are people talking about that Assad, who's been a great survivor, the family have been great survivors for decades now, is it considered possible that Syria as a whole could fall in terms of the Assad regime?
I think it's considered a possibility. I mean, the siege of Aleppo over the weekend took everybody by surprise. This is a city which has never fallen under complete opposition control in the more than 10 years that the civil war has been raging, and the rebel groups led by Jihadi al-Qaeda offshoot Hayat Tahrir al-Sham took the city in a matter of days with relatively little fighting, and we're seeing reports now that there's fighting in Hama, which is the second city kind of on the road to Damascus. I think it remains unlikely. Damascus is still a stronghold, and there's still a massive amount of support within parts of Syria for the regime. But it's a possibility, whereas a couple of weeks ago, nobody would have suggested it was.
And people are, I suppose, cannot be clear what is better or worse for the West in this conflict, because Assad is a monster. He chemically attacks his own people, supported by Russia and Iran, who are stated enemies of the West. But many parts of the opposition, as you mentioned, have affiliations with Al-Qaeda. They're jihadis. They're people who believe in a caliphate. So presumably this is one of those wars where whoever wins, neither winner would be good for Western interests.
Yeah, or indeed for the Syrian people themselves. I think it's difficult to tell what's going to come next, but sadly, no possibility looks good. I was speaking to people yesterday who've got family, ethnic minorities living in Aleppo. So you've got entire communities of Christians, for instance, who now find themselves under control of a group which the origins of which are with Al Qaeda. So, of course, there's a tremendous amount of concern amongst Syrians. As you say, it's not good for Western interests either under Assad or under what is essentially a jihadist group. So we'll follow and we'll see what happens. But it's difficult to be optimistic for Syria's future at the moment.
Yeah, that's very fair. But just before you go, we mentioned that Turkey is involved in this, and Turkey might benefit from some of the chaos. Can you explain that? How Turkey fits into this? Because we mentioned Russia, we mentioned Iran, we mentioned Hezbollah, we mentioned Iraqis, Al Qaeda. It's a very complicated situation, but Turkey's in this somewhere. What's the Turkish role in all of this?
Well, Turkey has keen interest in Syria. It obviously shares a large border with northern Syria, and has been the main backer of Hayat Tahrir al-Sham up until now. Now, they denied officially a couple of days ago that they're supporting the offensive, saying that the reasons stem from internal Syrian problems and not from some foreign actor funding it. I think that's doubtful. I think Turkey certainly does have a hand in this. It definitely has influence over the group. I think it probably is giving material funding to the fighters, and this involves the rebels not just fighting the Assad regime, but also the Kurds, who have got good relations with the West, but Ankara considers a terrorist group in the northeast of the country.
So that's another factor to bear in mind with all of this. What an absolute mess it really is. Edmund, good to speak to you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
That's Edmund Bauer there, Times correspondent in the Middle East.
لازم بعيد سيارة بعد أقرب على السيارة يا خالد. I've been on mine.